Alright guys, I am gonna keep this script as simple as I possibly can because there is so much content surrounding the E1. Honestly, there is so much I couldn't even digest all of it, and I really don't want to bore anyone. With that said, I absolutely, truly believe the eufyMake E1 is the next consumer or maybe prosumer product to totally, completely flip the makerspace on its head. Please stick around for everything that I have to say about this machine. Oh, and one more thing. When I heard what the E1 was and when I watched the influencer briefing in my email, I definitely wanted to get this thing in the studio, but after it was actually in the studio, my mind was totally, completely blown. This machine is absolutely insane. So for those of you that don't know what a UV printer is, the briefest, most concise explanation that I can give is that it deposits a very fine layer of a UV curable proprietary ink onto nearly any surface, and it cures it immediately. And for anyone that might be confused, a UV printer is not new technology. This actually has existed in the past, but it has been reserved for the industry because prior to the E1, the cheapest machine available is upwards of $10,000. And you guys very likely actually own items and products that were customized with a UV printer. You might even own them on your desk right now, but maybe you didn't know that it was made with a UV printer. So a lot of products that you might find that are customized by manufacturers would be phone cases, notebooks, keychains, or even USB drives. But that is just a tiny sampling of what you can use and what you can customize with a UV printer because honestly, it's an endless sea of items. And yeah, all those items that I just listed are cool, but let's be honest, they are kind of knick-knack style items. But again, that is because this technology has previously been locked down by expensive industry, so you really don't get a choice in what's customized. You just browse Etsy, select an item, and you have something. But the most important thing that I want to hit home right now is that the E1 is so cheap and it's so affordable for the consumer or the prosumer market that you could really customize anything down to the single individual unit size items. Meaning that I can look around right now and find anything on my desk, for instance, this pair of needle nose tweezers, and customize it. In fact, I actually did that with the Swapper 3D faceplate. More about this later. But because I am a 3D printing hobbyist channel, obviously that's where I'm gonna see the most use case is single one-off customized items. And I think any of my viewers are probably gonna resonate with that as well. So with that said, without further ado, jumping right into some of the items that I customized, here's the list. So for example, I have these 3D printed pill organizers. One says pain, one says allergy. I can have Claritin in one, Advil in the other. But don't limit your imagination just to pills. You could do this for any storage system. So talking about storage systems, what about if you had a multi-board setup? Well, I have a huge wall back behind me that's going to be getting a multi-board setup soon, and when I start to put all these baskets and boxes on, it might be beneficial to label what goes in each box. Essentially, you would have infinite power. What about this? This is a 3D printed marker holder. Now, I haven't printed anything on here yet, but I could print the color arrangements along the faceplate here or pretty much anything else. That would be pretty sick. Now the next one that I did customize are these cool test prints. Now these were printed in some pretty tough engineering grade filaments, and on the back of them I printed what the material was and what my slicer settings are. This way in the future when I go to print these same materials, I'll know. One of these is PA12CF and the other one is PETCF, and not every slicer and every printer has baked in profiles for these, so having them printed on the back of these examples is pretty good. Now, maybe I'm kind of just grasping at straws here, but I have these 3D printed shovels that I use for light gardening. Some of them go in chemicals and some of them just go in soil. I could print soil on the back and the chemicals on the back of the other ones. So, like I said, maybe grasping at straws, but So many use cases. All right, so back to the Swapper 3D. And guys, this is by Big Brain 3D. This was a Kickstarter, give or take, a couple of years ago. I have a full kit. It's coming to the channel. If you do want to see this, please make sure you like and subscribe because it'll be published pretty soon, I'd say. Maybe doing a live stream of the build. But anyway, guys, what I'm about to tell you might be one of the single best use cases for a UV printer. So this old faceplate, one of the main faceplates of the device, had a sticker on it. And this was the only way to do this prior to a UV printer. It's customized, it's cool, but over time the sticker is gonna peel, the edges are gonna look nasty. So I reverse engineered that sticker and I UV printed the whole entire faceplate. It looks better, it looks more professional, it looks crisper, cleaner, the edges won't peel. Honestly, from a business perspective, this might be the single best reason and purpose to purchasing a UV printer. All right, guys, so what is my single most desired reason to use this printer from a 3D printing perspective? Well, I run a YouTube channel. Obviously, you guys are watching it right now. I now have fully customized, fully made and designed and printed and manufactured in-house business cards. These are thick. They're 3D printed card blanks. I printed a white rectangle. When those white rectangles are done, I stick them under the UV printer and I have full color, crisp, high definition with QR code business cards. This is sweet and this is the single best reason for me and the single coolest thing for me about the UV printer. All right, guys, so the other non-3D printed reasons and cool things to make with the UV printer, I'm gonna do my best to rapid fire them because a lot of other creators have already showcased what you can do with it. So when we're not talking about 3D printed items, I use ChatGPT to design this super sweet movie style 3D printing high action metal poster. Of course, I printed it with texture and gloss. This is sweet and I am absolutely going to be printing more metal posters to hang around the studio. I also printed something of similar size. It's a canvas with raised texture. It's a photograph that I took and the raised texture and brush strokes, all that was designed with the baked in AI. It's honestly pretty insane. Now, I've also experimented with magnets, travel mugs, tumblers, all the likes of what you've seen from every other creator on YouTube, so I'm not going to dwell on those for too long. But something that you guys might be interested in is print time and material cost. So let's get into that. So the print time is obviously directly related to the number of times the print head has to move over and print at a particular location. So I say that because printing a single flat surface is significantly faster and cheaper to print than printing something that requires texture and gloss. Now, the movie poster is about the worst case scenario that you could have because it prints a full white layer on the bottom, then it prints all the color details, then it prints the texture, and when it's done printing all of the texture, it has to go over the whole surface and print a layer of gloss. The movie poster took me roughly 6 hours to print and somewhere in the vicinity of $12 in material costs. That does not count the metal poster. I don't know how much the actual base material would cost for you. I've also printed numerous 2x3 magnets that are ceramic. The print time is less than 5 minutes and the material cost is less than 25 cents. And something to note is that the E1 has an automatic cleaning cycle. The cleaning cycle automatically runs when the E1 goes dormant, and the purpose of it is to wash away all of the UV ink that is stuck in the print head. When ink is stuck in the print head, it can cure, and if it cures in the print head, it is an absolute mega nightmare to clean it. It costs a lot of money and a lot of time to get it clean, so you really do not want ink to cure in the print head. And when I say it costs a lot of money, I mean you have to run a whole bunch of deep clean cycles, which basically wastes and purges a bunch of material. So you really don't want to get into a situation where UV ink has cured in the print head. The good news for you guys though is it has happened to me not once but twice. my own doing, it is my own fault, and I was able to rectify and solve the problem, so if ink does get cured in there, it's not a forever problem. Okay, and because I outed myself and said that I caused the print head on this to become clogged, I'm gonna tell you how to solve that so it doesn't happen. There are very few steps, and the steps that exist are very simple. The first one is when you're done, run a clean cycle. Immediately. Do not let the E1 go into its automatic mode. Just run a clean. And guess what? That's all of the steps. It's one step. Just automatically click the clean button. What will happen when you do this is it runs a basic default cleaning setting, but it's more clean cycles than it would automatically run. However, if you do allow it to just do its automatic cleaning, there is a chance that the UV ink could cure depending on your environment. And when it cures, it probably takes 3 or 4 deep clean cycles, a lot more material is wasted. In my experience, if you just run a single clean when you're done printing, everything is butterflies and rainbows. All right, so what are some of the special features and limitations of the E1? So the first one is that right now the software is still under development, and while it's not really limited, there are regular features rolling out. So the features that I have access to right now, while it is not in the public's hand, might be different from the features that you guys have, meaning you guys might have more features or better features. And with that said, I'm not trying to say that the software is limited. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The software is kind of lush with features. Now, most of the AI integration is limited to texture mapping, and for the most part, it works pretty well. Essentially, you upload a 2D image. It could be of anything, cats, mountains, it doesn't matter. The AI analyzes it and it adds texture and depth where it thinks it needs to be. In my experience, it has done a very good job. There are a couple times where I was less than pleased with it, but it's AI, and the best part is it gives you a preview prior to printing so you're not wasting time or materials. Now, do be aware that eufyMake actually has integrated an ability for you to upload your own custom manual texture map. That was done in a software revision after my initial testing, so I didn't do that, but there are other people that have. Not sure how easy it is, but you can do manual texture mapping as well. So if you're curious, the E1 can print at a texture depth of up to 5 millimeters, which is absolutely totally nuts. And yes, that's not just marketing. It does print at a texture depth of up to 5 millimeters. If you look at a canvas with brush strokes, typically your brush strokes are nowhere near 5 millimeters. So if you're trying to do modern art of some kind, they've got you covered. Now, how does texture actually get printed, and what are the implications of that? So when you print texture, it uses white layers of ink to actually build that texture up, and only when you go to print the final outer shell does it print color. That means when you're printing lots of texture, you're gonna be blowing through white cartridges unproportionally or disproportionately to your CMYK. So just keep that in mind. Now, the best part is that the final printed result, material dependent, is incredibly durable. And no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna scratch it. It is shockingly durable. For instance, this is a 120 watt plug-in USB power brick. This was the first thing I printed, and I had no idea what to expect. When it printed, I used my fingernail and tried to scratch this thing. You can't scratch it. I would have to take a knife or a screwdriver and actually gouge the actual product in order to damage the surface. Another cool thing about the E1, or well, the software, is that it is a fully functional design workspace. And what I mean by that is that you can actually start from a blank white canvas and completely design something from the ground up and then print it on your objects. But maybe the best part is I'm not an artist. Well, there's a full entire marketplace, if you will, similar to Printables or MakerWorld, where other people can upload their designs. You can download the designs and use them, all for free. Now, I said all for free, but do be aware, if you're intending on using the E1 for commercial purposes, in order to obtain a commercial license, you do need to pay a monthly premium to use the software. only if you're intending on selling the models that you're printing. So yeah, I want to make that abundantly clear. If you are a hobbyist like me, the software is fully free. You can print anything. There is nothing hidden behind a paywall. And lastly, I'm sure you've seen other creators mention it, but there is a roller attachment, so you can print custom mugs. These have the two kitties that we own, Pepper and Evie. And then I also printed this one. This is a cool 3D printer-like scene. Again, a movie poster, but this time printed on a mug. And then they have a DTF laminating attachment, so you can print waterproof stickers. Now I haven't tested that one out yet, but if it's like anything else, it's incredibly easy to use. Now for those of you that are curious, there are two plate sizes. The first one is 9 centimeters by 33 centimeters. This is me for reference. And they also have the whopping, what's this, 42 by 33 centimeter plate size. Again, me for reference, but pretty freaking big. And by the way, due to how this actually prints something so big, there is a 1.5 kilogram weight limit on the big plate. I have no idea what you would possibly print that exceeds that weight limit, but yeah. Oh, yeah, and back to eufyMake Studio for a moment. When you put your item on the plate, there's a camera on the inside that takes a photograph of everything on the plate, and it imports that photograph into the design canvas, which allows you to then take your design and move it in space on the plate and place it exactly where you want the printer to print it. Honestly, eufyMake Studio makes it so easy, even a squirrel could operate. And guys, there isn't any product on the market that's like the E1. I could talk to you for hours about it. Every single time I try a new feature with this machine, it genuinely blows my mind. I'm at a lack of words. I could genuinely see using this E1 in nearly every facet of my life. Now, whether I do or not, I don't know, but I have so many use cases for something like this. It just fits into every single niche area. And seriously, guys, if you're on the fence about the E1 right now, I wholeheartedly recommend you just dive deep, because while this machine is on Kickstarter, the price is significantly cheaper and there's a lot less to lose if you happen to not like it. With that said, I do not think you will dislike this machine. It is genuinely insane. And by the way, I have a link in my description. It's an affiliate link. It will greatly help me out if you choose to back this product. So yeah, please go down there and check it out if you are gonna back it. Thank you. And finally, guys, if you like this video, do be sure to hit the like and subscribe. These videos take a long time to make. I really enjoy it, but showing the support to the channel really incentivizes me to continue making more. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, guys, I'll see you in the next one.